Today's speaker, Dr. Robert Knight, has taught a variety of courses at Chadron State College over the past 11 years, including Introduction to Political Science, U.S. Politics and Government, American Political Thought, Politics and Religion, and International Politics. Comparative legislative politics with a focus on legislative process in Mexico is Dr. Knight's specialty and the focus of his research work. As a teenager growing up in San Diego, just a 15-minute drive from New Mexico, he first became curious about the systems of government that gave rise to the stark differences in living conditions he observed on occasional visits across the border. Following his retirement this month, he and his wife, Louise, will be moving back to San Diego where their daughter lives. He hopes to teach 1 or 2 classes a semester in comparative politics at one of the many higher education institutions in the area. Moving to California means leaving the friendly people, lack of traffic, and small-town atmosphere of Chadron, he said, but he won't miss shoveling snow. Well, maybe we can send you some in the mail. I am proud to invite Dr. Knight to the podium to deliver the commencement address. Dr. Knight.
I had no idea how bright these lights are, but I'm sure there's a lot of smiling faces out there I wish I could see. It's truly an honor to deliver this commencement address. You have worked hard to earn your degrees. I am confident that your efforts will pay off greatly in your careers. Commencement speakers traditionally offer sage advice on how to succeed professionally. Instead, I intend to offer advice on citizenship, given that I am a political scientist. Why should you care for such advice? There are 2 basic reasons. First, a person only becomes a truly complete individual in association with others. As Aristotle famously wrote, we are social animals. We achieve fulfillment by helping others. We avoid enemy by forming our identity and values in the context of mutual responsibilities and the joy of fellowship. We gain self-esteem when we contribute to our communities. Success is an empty gold, untethered from other values. It will not satisfy our deepest needs for love and companionship. Second, it is in our self-interest to be civically engaged. De Tocqueville called this self-interest well understood. Civic participation is essential to a healthy democracy. It creates social capital. If we build networks of trust and reciprocity, we can use these investments in civic norms, skills, and relationships to solve our common problems. We underappreciate how much our own welfare depends on a healthy society and good democratic governance. Democracies face the free rider problem. It is individually rational for you not to be civically engaged. It costs you time and money. Let others do the work necessary to build social capital. But if we all made such an individually rational choice, clearly our democracy would perish. What is rational for you is irrational for the collectivity. You will lose the benefits of a healthy democratic society if others make the same choice to free ride. Community leaders can make a difference in mobilizing their fellow citizens to civic engagement. Michael Sustin calls these leaders spark plugs. They ignite the flames of civic participation. As citizens with advanced education, you possess the skills to be these spark plugs. Hopefully, I've convinced you of the importance of civic engagement and the leadership role that you must play. The question before us now is how best to be a civic leader. I propose to you the following principles. Be pragmatic, not ideological. Seek to achieve empathetic understanding of those with whom you disagree. Be well informed, consider arguments from all sides. Be skeptical and trusting at the same time. Support limits on power, even when those you support are in power. Recognize the limits of human reason and objectivity. Understand and appreciate our constitutional system. America has been noted for its pragmatism. Pragmatism is solutions-oriented. It disdains abstract theory that offers utopian answers to our problems. It is an approach grounded in evidence. If it works, use it. A pragmatic approach would seek to find common ground and negotiate compromises. But this is not the approach our political leaders are taking today. Ordinary citizens must share the blame, however. We reward position-taking over problem-solving. Politicians take rigid ideological stands to win elections. The resulting partisan polarization is leading to failed government. Only when citizens reward pragmatism will we return to productive governance. Such pragmatism is only possible if we view our fellow citizens with respect. This requires empathetic understanding. It also requires that we assume benevolent motives by those with whom we disagree until proven wrong. To assume otherwise is to ensure the failure of negotiations over public policies. It may satisfy our sense of righteousness, but it will not solve our problems. The media plays an important role in creating a political culture of cynicism, distrust, and polarization. Cable news and social media enable us to live within our own information bubbles. The result is tribal politics. Entertainment media have fostered cynicism and distrust. It portrays politicians as corrupt and self-seeking. We have gone from the naivete of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington to the House of Cards. This cynical picture of politics is even less accurate than the Pollyannish picture of old. Politicians are generally motivated by the public good. Yes, politics corrupts. This is why we must hold them accountable. We must be skeptical and trusting at the same time, a difficult balance to achieve, but one essential to democratic legitimacy. We must recognize our limitations. Human beings tend to be driven by emotions and prone to errors in reasoning. Demagogues will manipulate public opinion if given the opportunity. If we expect democracy to be orderly and efficient, we will be sadly disappointed. If we believe that there are better alternatives to the chaos of democratic politics, we may support political alternatives that will only make matters worse. To quote Winston Churchill, democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those other forms that have been tried from time to time. Be modest in your expectations for democratic governance, and we will likely achieve more. Do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. All societies must share some common beliefs and values to achieve social stability and good governance. Americans are divided over race, ethnicity, class, region, and ideology. Of late, we are becoming more so. Some have argued that Americans share a common civic religion, rooted in the founding principles of liberty, equality, and opportunity. There are good reasons to be skeptical of this argument, but we are a pluralistic society. Only a shared commitment to principles that transcend our differences will provide the glue needed to hold us together. Finally, I urge you as civic leaders to become knowledgeable of our constitutional system. American politics has largely been a contestation over constitutional interpretation. In the spirit of pragmatism, we should deliberate over constitutional issues with an appreciation that these are exceedingly difficult issues with no obvious answers. Foundational to our constitutional system is checks and balances. The framers created a system of government that would protect liberty, a governmental system in which ambition checks ambition, to quote Madison. This is not a recipe for efficiency and decisiveness. It is a system that demands deliberation and compromise. It inhibits radical change, but allows for incremental reforms. Politicians and citizens alike have become impatient with this system. The result is polarization, with gridlock replacing incrementalism. As civic leaders, it is important for the health of our democracy that you are engaged, acting as spark plugs to encourage others to be engaged. But mere engagement will not necessarily produce social cohesion and greater equity and prosperity. How one participates matters. Given our form of government and human nature, expectations should be modest. We must respect our fellow citizens, not impugning their motives. We must seek common ground and compromise. We must be satisfied with incremental improvements. This approach will make America a better place to live. Congratulations on your achievement in earning your master's degree from Chadron State College. Put what you have learned to good use in your careers and as civic spark plugs. Thank you.